Hey guys, Captain CA here, and welcome back to the FlatsClass YouTube channel, where we teach you how to be a better inshore angler. Do me a favor right now. Get these notifications and updates all the time for these tips by just pressing that subscribe button. I promise you, it's going to be worth it. All right, I was out on the water today with Captain Ryan Lambert here at Cajun Fishing Adventures because I'm here for the next, well, 5-6 weeks. And one of the things when I'm out here fishing that you're going to notice is I do not use fluorocarbon leaders. I don't use mono leaders. In fact, I don't use a leader at all. And you're like, what? No leaders at all. Not at all. And I'm going to tell you why here in a minute. I'm going to show you why. Okay, I know what you're thinking. You're just like, why all of a sudden am I anti-leader? After all, I'm the guy that teaches you how to tie leaders that are 6 to 8 feet long at some points of the year. Well, out here in the marsh, you know, I'm dealing with a lot of topped off hydrilla, lily pads, hyacinths, longleaf, like broadleaf grass here. It's stringy, it's everywhere. And if you're using anything but, I'm going to say, a leader itself, the leaders just get gagged up. There's not a knot small enough that you can tie where it's not a problem. And then to compound that, I typically like to throw right up in the slop where there's lots of floating debris and there's this nasty little algae. It's tough to fish. And then I spool up with 50 to 65 pound braid while I'm out here on these heavier action rods. I use a lot of medium heavies and even some heavy actions. This is a 7'2" Zodius from Shimano. That is a heavy action. And for the most part, it's my flipping, pitching, there's not really flipping anymore. It's just a pitching rod. And I use it to throw these little horny goat-toed frogs. These things are fantastic. They move across the surface. They got a little keel right here, and they look just so badass with those tails, those legs just going across the surface. It looks, well, for you bass fans, it looks a lot like a buzzbait, just an egg beater coming across the surface. And the strikes, not only from the bass, because yes, we catch bass here, but from the redfish themselves, well, they are cataclysmic. It's awesome. But anyhow, because braid Super Slick V2 from Power Pro is so slick, you have to be able to tie a knot that won't slip. So I'm going to teach you real quick this knot. It is the double Palomar. So I've got about a 4 or 5/0 EWG here. This is a rigging hook. This is a must-add one. I think it's the grip pin. I just didn't have a large enough ZWG from the new lineup from Z-Man yet, so I'm going to pull this one out of my box. All right, so you string your hook on your braid. I like to have plenty of tag, so I'm going to take this long tag and I'm going to stick it right through the hook line tie again. Easier said than done. All right, so now I've got this. I've got a double line. You're gonna make an overhand, just like so, once. And then in my case, the double, we're gonna go through again, the second time. Just tighten it up a little bit. Now I'm gonna open this loop up and I'm gonna shove this hook right through there, just like that, okay? And then I'm going to lube it up and we're going to pull this tight. It should all come together. As tight as I can get it. Let me clip this tag here off and then I'm going to show you this knot. This knot will not slip. This is Power Pro Super Slick V2, which is slick. All right, I don't know if the camera will really show it to you, but you can see that there's a double band of braid here on the line tie. Makes it super strong. Now I've got no knots here now because there's no leader. It's just straight braid. So I'm not going to have any snags, and I even have a soft knot here that once I put my frog on here, I can move it over that mat. I can just let it flitter over the mat and through all the nasty stuff, pads and everything, and boy, does it get some explosive reactions. Let me rig the frog next for you, hold on. All right, now that I've got this completely rigged, and I've got my slick little deal here, you know, I'm gonna work with this phone camera today because we're in a hurry. I'm not setting up the big cameras. You go through the head, right like so, out the chin, pull it through. I'll stick it in the belly just like that, and I'll push. I don't want to come all the way through because I like having these super, super weedless. And these horny goat toads, they're built a lot like the kicker crabs. They got that little keel there. The whole thing, the plastic's dense. It's very dense. It's kind of heavy, so I can throw it on this heavy action rod really well. I'm gonna say total weight is somewhere between 1/4, 5/16, and probably 3/8, which is just at the lower end of that rod. That's 7'2". This is a 7'2" Zodius. But for me, I think it does a fantastic job. Right there's the Zodius rod. But it's a good rod to work a bait like this. It's a good rod for me out here to pitch with. But you're gonna notice a lot of the videos that I'm doing out here are gonna have no leader, none at all. There will be times for top water and things like that, a few applications where we will use leader when we're outside the ponds on the outside edges, but most of the videos you're gonna see while I'm out here on my summertime pilgrimage to Cajun fishing adventures, you're gonna see a lot of shots with no leader. You heard that from a Florida guide. All right, if you're learning what you need to know and it's making you a better angler, and you can use this in Florida, don't get me wrong. If you're fishing the Big Bend, the Northeast, even some of the stuff in Flamingo where you have dead grass up against some of the islands, if you rig like this, you're not gonna get nasty stuff all tangled up on your baits that much. It's gonna make it real tough. Between a Texas rig and no leader, you can get away with a lot. And watercolor here and the aggressiveness of the fish makes it much easier for me here in Louisiana. But let's go back to me telling you, if you're learning something here, again, tell your friends, tell your fishing buddies, and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give us that thumbs up. The trendier we get on these YouTube channels and we crawl up to that 50K number that I need to be at, the more places I can take you, like Louisiana. All right, I'll have another video out for you tomorrow.